Hi, T Carlson here, and today we're going to the world of Pokemon again. Well, this time around we're not going to be looking at cards or any of the movies. This time around I'm going to look at my top picks for the Pokemon that are still not compatible with Sword and Shield, even after the DLC was released. There's still quite a few Pokemon missing, and some of them are pretty surprising. This is not going to be a ranking list. I was debating doing this as a top 10, but instead I'm just going to go through and name off a few of my top picks for the ones you still can't use in Sword and Shield. Without further ado, let's begin. The first one I have on the list is the Weedle family. Weedle, Kakuna, Beedrill. Now, in a lot of Pokemon games, usually bug Pokemon are some of the first ones you can get. And while they're not super strong or always great late game Pokemon, they evolve really early so they can be great early game Pokemon. Beedrill was one of those I love to have in my party because it's a nice mix of bug and poison, and oftentimes that can really give you an advantage against certain species. So, real disappointment not to see them there. Next, I have the Pidgey family. Again, some early game Pokemon that you can get your hands on and they can really come in handy. Its final evolution, Pidgeot, is actually a pretty strong flying/normal Pokemon that can really get you through the Pokemon League in just about all of the games. Anything that's weak against flying, Pidgeot's going to be their worst nightmare. So it is a surprise that, some of the lesser known, lesser desirable birds from later generations were included, but they left out the Pidgey family. Next up, kind of on the similar route, we have the Rattata family. And again, Rattata, one of the earliest Pokemon you can get in a lot of games. You can level it up, and before long it evolves to Raticate, and it's a pretty good all-around normal type. And then the Alola games even introduced an Alolan type that's part Dark type. So with that little addition to the Rattata family, I'm especially disappointed not to see that they made it into Sword and Shield. Then, of course, we have the Ekans family, Ekans and Arbok. There's a lot of poison-type Pokemon, and I know that type's not everybody's favorite, but Ekans could very well be the most iconic of the poison Pokemon of Generation 1, largely because it and its evolution, Arbok, is what Jesse used in the TV show so prominently. And it would have been nice to have Arbok to fight against all those fairy types that are weak against poison, but unfortunately, we didn't get the Ekans family here, and, we're still waiting. And another big shocker, too, missing is the Manky family, Manky and Primeape. Early in your game, it's always good to get your hands on fighting-type Pokemon because they're like the only weakness that normal-type Pokemon have. Manky and its evolution Primeape were always a really good bet for that, and not seeing them make the cut for Sword and Shield even after the DLC is a bit of a disappointment. Probably my biggest disappointment and surprise omission from Sword and Shield from Gen 1 is the Geodude family. Geodude, Graveler, Golem. And they even introduced Alolan forms of these in Sun and Moon. Whenever you ask someone to name a rock Pokemon, who do you think they're going to pick first? Probably Geodude. This was probably the most popular of all rock Pokemon families, and it's the biggest startling moment when you find that they've been omitted from Sword and Shield. And it's especially disappointing because we had those new Alolan versions introduced, and because of this, we don't get those either. Going down to Gen 2, a major missing one is the Mareep family. Mareep, Flaffy, and Ampharos. One of the things I like about the Johto games is they introduced this family of electrical Pokemon so I could get my hands on a great tree of evolutionary electrical Pokemon that didn't say Pika Pika all the time. And Ampharos has always been one of my favorites. When I found out that I wouldn't get to use him in Sword and Shield, needless to say, I was very disappointed. Sticking with Generation 2, another one missing that really should have been in the game, the Johto starter families that start out with Chikorita, Cyndaquil, and Totodile. They all have pretty solid third and final evolved forms, and in the old games, they were great for taking on the Elite Four, so seeing them omitted here is a huge disappointment, especially Cyndaquil, who's one of the favorite fire starters of many a Pokemon fan. Another family that's missing is the Misdreavus family. Misdreavus is noteworthy because it was the first ghost Pokemon that was purely ghost type. The Ghastly family from Gen 1 was also part poison, so that gave him a psychic weakness. Misdreavus and its later introduced evolution, Mismagius, hope I'm pronouncing those names right, would have been great to have for all those situations where they would have had the advantage. I mean, it's tough to find just a straight up pure ghost type, and this was the originator right here. Going down the list a little more, we have the Wormbull family. Wormbull is never going to be anybody's favorite Pokemon, but it was always really unique because it had two separate evolutionary chains. Two Cocoon Pokemon that each evolved into their own flying Pokemon. It could evolve into Cascoon and Dustox, or it could evolve into Silcoon and Beautifly. I love that variety and how it can come from one Pokemon. Not to mention bug Pokemon are some of the earliest you get in your journey, and because they evolve fairly early, they're nice to have for those early gyms and trainer battles. Again, totally wish that Wormbull had been included here for these reasons. And then we also have the rival Snake and Mongoose Pokemon, Seviper and Zangoose. Now, neither one of these Pokemon is the most remarkable thing, I won't deny that. But I love that whole Snake versus Mongoose mentality they had here. And they were interesting Pokemon for that reason. One exclusive to Ruby, one exclusive to Sapphire. And it would be nice if we got them in a future DLC update if they ever decide to make one. Another big one from Gen 3 that's missing is Castform. Again, I don't think Castform is going to be anyone's top pick or most noteworthy Pokemon. But the neat thing about Castform is it could change form and type based on the weather. And I know in the years since there have been several other Pokemon that have had little gimmicks like this, but for me, Castform was always unique for that very reason. And it's too bad that we don't get him here for that particular reason. Gen 3 legendary Pokemon, another major omission, Deoxys. Deoxys being one of the most memorable of all legendary Pokemon, and one that certainly made an impact in Gen 3. I mean, this one was always, really hard to get your hands on, because I think it's one of those cases where you had to get it from like a promotional offer. I don't know if there's actually a game where you can catch Deoxys. Don't quote me on that, because again, haven't played these in years. And then we go down a little further on the list. The Sinnoh starters are also missing. I mean, Chimchar was always a personal favorite, and a few of the other generations are missing their starter Pokemon too. There's a lot of them that I wanted to put on this list, but I just narrowed it down to a few highlights for the purposes of this video. Who is your favorite Pokemon that's missing from Sword and Shield? Comment down below and let me know what you think. Also, remember to subscribe to my channel for more content because I'm always posting new videos. Be sure to like this one if you found it helpful. I'm Taylor T. Carlson. See you next time.